Hello crafty friends, I'm Lean from Studio Kato and I am so happy to be back with another video all about card design and how to bring balance to your card. Now, this topic came to mind because I struggled putting this card together. I really loved all the separate elements, but the layout just wasn't working out for me. So I'll talk a little bit about that and how I fixed it in the end. Now, I started with my background for this one because this takes a while to dry. And I'm using this Distress Spray Stains for this on watercolor cardstock. I am using XL mixed media paper from Canson and I really like it, but any watercolor cardstock will work for this. I stuck to mostly green tints and some bluish ones, and I knew that I wanted to use that lovely little plant water thing from A Pocket Full of Happiness. So I'm using that as size comparison to see if my background is full enough. But I'm just adding sprays, adding splatter here and there, and if I want it to flow a little bit more, I add some clear water as well. Once I'm sort of happy with how it looks, I can heat set it. The colors will fade a little bit when you dry it, which is normal for watercolor. So just make sure that you heat set it, but if you want to add more color, you absolutely can layer it up to get a more intense look. I do fiddle around with this a lot because I just really love the process, but you can be very quick about this. I still think I only took 5 minutes to make this background, and I loved it in the end. I am using the Bloom Where You're Planted die set from A Pocket Full of Happiness. This is part of Joca's latest release, and I really, really love it. It just screams spring to me, and I love the whimsical flowers. It's just gorgeous. Now, one thing that is a little bit difficult, or what I found a little bit difficult about this die set, is the size. It is quite a big die set. The flowers are pretty sizable, and that water can is also pretty sizable as well. So if you want to use them together on an A2 size card, you might struggle the way I did, but I fixed it in the end. I am layering them up a couple of times, especially this watering can, because I just wanted it to feel a little bit more substantial. So I'm using 2 layers of thick white cardstock and layering some colored cardstock on top of that as well. For the flowers, I just cut them out of 2 colors of cardstock. You don't have to layer these, but they look fun layered, so I love doing this. And I only ended up using 2 of these flowers, but I saved the 3rd one anyway, because it's perfect to embellish your envelope with. It's such a quick embellishment if you have a die cut left over, so I always save those and put them in with the cards, and I can use it somewhat as a wax seal, I suppose. And here is where I went wrong with this card. I adhered this watering can with foam tape, and I just started adhering things down, thinking it was going to work out. And most of the time it just does. So I thought I'd skip the step of fussing over the layout for ages, though I still did. I still fussed about the layout before adhering things down, but I just thought it would come together anyway, even though I didn't love it when I did the layout first. And I was still not loving it now. I thought I was doing it a little bit different, but it just wasn't coming together. And the reason is because there is nothing grounding that watering can. The bottom of the card is just a little bit empty. You have the watering can just floating in nothing. And then the flowers are also quite heavy, so the balance is just not working out for me. I didn't follow any design courses or anything like that. I just have a feeling that this isn't working out. And I realized that if I had made a grounding of some sort for that watering can, it probably would have gone better. I even tried to pull this up and move it down a little bit, but then realized that the flowers were adhered down with glue anyway, so that wasn't going to work out. So I could have tossed this card because I really wasn't liking it at this point. But with the flowers so heavy at the top, I thought maybe I'd just add a little bit more at the bottom. I didn't want to add more die cuts because I didn't want to add more color. So instead I went for a whimsical stripe pattern at the bottom of the card. I made sure to overlap this with the watering can a little bit, not put the stripes over the watering can, but just make sure that it falls in that same space so the watering can is grounded to the rest of the card. And because the stripes go all the way across the bottom or all the way across the width of the card, it definitely adds a heavier element at the bottom of the card to balance out those pretty full flowers at the top. I did this just by drawing it out. My pen was also drying out, so it wasn't the best experience I ever had making a card, but it worked out in the end, and I really like that whimsical stripe feature at the bottom. It really pulls the card together, and I also really think it fits nicely with that whimsical spray background. I added a couple of embellishments. I debated adding some to the bottom. That would have balanced it out even more, but I thought it would be just fun to add them only at the flowers. Balance is pretty important in any design, and if I had shifted this watering can a little bit more towards the bottom and had given the flowers a little bit more room to breathe at the top, that would have also helped this card design. But I like my way of fixing it. I think it worked out. I might add one more black stripe at the bottom so it's balanced out as well with the width of the card, or the length of the card, that I have the same margin between the black stripes at the bottom as I have with the flower at the top, if that makes sense. So I might add one more stripe there, but overall I really like this card in the end, even though it wasn't working out for me at the time. So stick with it, try some things, and even if it doesn't work out in the end, it's just paper. You can always toss it if you've tried everything. I hope you liked this card and this video. If you did, make sure to leave a thumbs up on this video, leave your thoughts in the comments below, and subscribe so I can see you next time.